Welcome back to Only Talk Sports, where we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more sports content and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. We got another preview video for you. USC and Stanford, a big Pac-12 game. A game where if USC loses, it might end the Pac-12's chances to make the college football playoff. Maybe not if Utah can run the table, but it's going to be tight. USC really needs to win this game for the Pac-12. Now, USC went 4-8 last year. Clay Helton, ironically, lost to Stanford at home, and he got fired right after that game. And then they had an interim coach. But now, just with the doctor order comes in, Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma. They're like the most surprising move of the offseason. He goes out to USC. Everybody's like, man, he's going to be able to dominate the Pac-12. And now you got the Pac-12 losing USC to the Big Ten in a couple years. But for now, maybe he can dominate the Pac-12. But he's got Utah standing in his way. But he brought a lot of players with him from Oklahoma. Caleb Williams at quarterback. You know, he was at Oklahoma, and he was a really, really good player. You know, a lot of people thought maybe he even had a chance to win the Heisman last year, even though he only played in 8 games because Spencer Rattler started the season for Oklahoma. But he's a great player. He's probably right behind Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud at Ohio State and Alabama, respectively. And he's probably the third highest, rated quarterback going into the draft when he's available to play, be in the draft. And at quarterback, he's probably the third best in college football. I mean, he's a really good quarterback. I mean, he's maybe not at the level of, again, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, but he's really, really good. And that is why Lincoln Riley definitely wanted him to follow him to USC. Travis Dye, running back, transfer from Oregon. He's a really good player, and that really hurt Oregon losing him. He's a good player. He's very fast. He single-handedly beat almost Ohio State last year for Oregon because he kept running to the left, and Ohio State just couldn't figure it out. He's a good player. Jordan Addison and Mario Williams, transfers from Pitt and Oklahoma, respectively, at wide receiver. Both are definitely going to be NFL talents. Jordan Addison might have the more bigger name recognition, but Mario Williams is very, very good as well. And they got other receivers that are waiting in their wings to be star receivers. Kind of like Alabama, Taj Washington is their other receiver, third starting receiver, and he's fantastic as well. Again, maybe not as good as Mario Williams and Jordan Addison, but good as well. And on the defensive side, they got linebacker Shane Lee, beast of a linebacker. He had a lot of tackles in their game against Rice. They beat Rice 66-14 last week. Max Williams, the defensive back. Eric Gentry, linebacker, transfer from Oregon. And Caitlin Bullock at safety. And then on the other side for Stanford. Now, Stanford is interesting because Stanford's had a history of beating USC in the past. And David Shaw is a great coach. A lot of people, I get sick of the argument that David Shaw is not a good coach, that it was all Jim Harbaugh. I understand you can say, well, Jim Harbaugh built up Stanford, and then David Shaw continued, but people were acting like David Shaw was never good. The guy had like a 80-20 record before the past few losing seasons of going 11-19. He's a great coach, and yeah, he took over a program that was built by Jim Harbaugh. But to say David Shaw is not a good coach is ridiculous. Tanner McKee at quarterback. A lot of people think he's an NFL talent. He's got a big body, 6'5", 6'6" quarterback. They played Colgate last week and won 41-10, and he threw 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. I think the picks are a problem. He throws too many interceptions, but if he can get the picks under control, then Tanner McKee can definitely be a NFL quarterback. E.J. Smith ran for over 100 yards against Colgate last week. Again, it's Colgate, but he looked good on the ground. He had a touchdown run. That's good news for Stanford, who has not had a good running game since Bryce Love and Christian McCaffrey. John Humphreys and Michael Wilson at wide receiver. Both are good. John Humphreys is the best receiver on their team, though. He was there last year, and he was a really good player. And linebackers, Levani Damuni, linebacker Tristan Sinclair, cornerback Ethan Donor, and defensive lineman Anthony Franklin are the best defensive players for Stanford. And they're going to have to do everything they possibly can to stop USC's high-powered offense. Now, I will say, I think, this is not a retrospect on Stanford, but I will say I think the biggest reason why Stanford has been struggling, like I was talking about on a show the other day, is that Stanford is an academic school, and with NIL and all that, and Stanford just does not put a lot of money into their athletics as much as other schools do in football, and plus you have to be really smart to go there. It's extremely hard to win at Stanford. But David Shaw and Jim Harbaugh have shown that it can be done. And Stanford, even though they went 3-9 last year, who were the 2 teams that they upset? They upset Oregon and they upset USC. this can be done. And again, a lot of people are picking Stanford because Stanford has a history of beating USC. But with Lincoln Riley's high-powered offense, the way they looked against Rice, and all the players that they just have way too much talent. I know it's at the farm, it's at Stanford, but I'm picking USC to win this game. I just cannot pick Stanford. Again, Pac-12 needs this game. USC is hungry. They want to win. Again, I would not be upset with an upset for Stanford, but I just do not see it. And I have USC winning 41-21. I think it's going to be a close game, but USC's high-powered offense is just going to overpower the defense of Stanford late in the game, and I got USC winning 41-21. Comment down below what you think in this game, whether USC is going to win or Stanford, and why. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content, like this video, and I will see you next time.